Hi, hi everyone. It's Stephen from Wakefield College here. I'm going to talk to you this afternoon about access courses. And what I want to talk to you about first of all is the fact we're live. So you can send in your questions and I can answer them on screen. We might even have a few ex-students who might wish to join us today, which would be fantastic. We might hear your experiences as well. So that would be really good. So I talked to you before when I did a little plug for this about access courses. They're basically a one-year route if you're over 19 into university. And so they're equivalent to A levels, but for their adults, and because you have to be over 19 to do them. So why would you do that? Well, it's about getting your dream job. Okay. You're probably aware that you've seen some of the material. If you wanted to be a social worker or a lawyer or a nurse, you need a degree. Okay, and if you haven't done A levels or B Techs or something like that, and you haven't got the qualifications to go to university, then in that case, you'll need to do a qualification, which you can do with us at Wakefield College. A one-year access course gives you UCAS points, and you can go and do those degrees in nursing, social work, midwifery. But we also offer far more opportunities to do your dream job. I'm going to perhaps just give you a few examples of those sort of jobs. So if you wanted to be like a graphic designer or an advertising executive, most of those people have degrees. So you need to do that. Something like a creative and digital access course would be great for you. If you wanted to be a sports psychologist or you're interested in sports physiotherapy, then you might choose a sports science access course and then go on to do a degree after that. Something like music performance. Now you might think, well, I might not be a performer, a singer, a dancer, or a musician, but there's a lot of jobs that involve having a degree around that. Jobs like a sound engineer, a music producer, a composer. Those people have often had degrees, they've been to colleges and they've been to university. And finally, something, let's say, look at our music technology access course for that. Finally, something like you love working with animals. I'm not sure you're going to be a vet, but veterinary assistants, again, they've been to colleges and universities. So many of those dream jobs that you have probably are done by people who have degrees, but we can get you to that point by doing an access course and then doing a degree. And so there's lots of great opportunities for you to come to Wakefield College and doing something like animal studies. And what I'd like is lots of questions coming from you, and I'll do my best to answer them. So I can see one on screen already. What if I don't have the qualifications needed? Well, the good thing about access courses, we're not too demanding in terms of the entry requirements. Yes, some courses may require some GCSEs, but not many. And even if you don't have those, come and talk to us, because we do offer free adult courses in GCSEs that you can do, such as maths and English. So that's fine. And many of our best students have already done GCSEs in the past. So certainly don't worry about your qualifications. Best thing is get in touch with us. So you can just give us a call or email us. We'll be able to do the rest and get the application started. So don't worry about the qualifications that you have. Come and talk to us, because there's always a way we can get you onto the access courses and get you to the degree level. And some of our students that we have start with very little, and some of them might be with us today and might want to drop us some messages. It'd be good to hear from them about the experiences that they've had in the past. But they've started with next to no qualifications, and now they're, for example, Leeds University doing degrees, which is fantastic. So lots of great possibilities. 94% of our students, I'm not going to bore you with statistics today, 94% of our students went on to degrees from last year. So we had over 100 students, 94% of them went on to do degrees from the access course. So that's really fantastic and shows that we've got great progression rates. So keep the questions coming, and we'd love to hear from you. I mean, access courses, like I said, a one-year route to university, equivalent to A levels, legally equivalent, so you don't need to worry about it, accepted nationally by universities. So some of our students go as far as Bournemouth and London. So I've got another question, which is great. Will I get help and advice with my university application? Definitely you will, okay? So when you come and join us, the strange thing is that you are applying for university fairly speedily. So if you come and join us in September, within the first term, the rather daunting process of applying for university, but we have lots of experts on hand to help you. First of all, your tutors will help look at your personal statement, your application, make sure it's perfect, write you a positive reference, and we'll get all that done in the first term. So we appreciate students need a lot of help and guidance. We also have a careers area which also look at personal statements. We give you support with interviews in some cases, for some of the courses, not many for university. Things like social work, nursing have interviews, but most don't. So we'll support that process too. And that's why we have excellent progression to university. So keep the questions coming, because I'd love to hear from you. Like I said, it can be ex-students, it can be current students. Maybe a bit hesitant about it, thinking maybe this year, maybe not. But put in an application. It'd be good to talk to us. We've got so many different pathways. Like I said, from the usual ones that people expect, such as healthcare professions, or we have some sort of humanities, those sort of areas as business, law and criminology, but we have those exciting ones like creative and digital. We have sports science, we have music technology, we have animal studies. Excuse me. What about people born and educated overseas? Excuse me. We have a lot of people who come from us from overseas. We look at their qualifications overseas and we try and help them as well, ensure that we take into account their previous qualifications. We support them with, make sure everything's funded. And many of our students do extremely well in Wakefield College. In fact, many may have even started with English as a foreign language, and they've done fantastically well. They maybe have done things at college before, and they've progressed from English courses at basic levels to what we call level 2, which kind of the GCSE level 3 access, and then off to university. So we've got a fantastic track record of supporting people from all sorts of different backgrounds, including those who might have been born overseas. So that's a really good question. Keep those comments coming, but we certainly are we have a very diverse group of students. We have people we have people who are 19, but we also have people who are 29, 39, and maybe even some as old as me, because we are very diverse, and it's certainly what you may lack in your previous years of experience in terms of education, you may gain in terms of life skills, having worked, having a passion for something, music, animals, sports, and you can bring that in as a person. I've nearly said elderly, I didn't mean that. As a mature person, you can bring a lot more skills than many people think, and so that you actually can be a very strong student. Excuse me. How long would it take to complete? Access courses start in September and finish in July. So it's a 1-year route. It is intensive, I'm not going to lie about that. It's 3 A levels in a year, but virtue has its own reward. We do get fantastic progression to university, and you don't have to do it for 2 years. So you can get to university in a year, and yes, it's intense, but the work's structured. It's broken down into bite-sized bits over the year. So it is manageable, but you guys who come and join us do need to manage your time well. So that's really important. But yes, it takes a year, September to July, and then we get that fantastic progression off to university to do those degrees that lead to the dream jobs that many aspire to. So keep the questions coming. And like I said, if there's any former students out there, you can drop us a message and it'll probably flash up on the screen, because we've got some great experiences. People who've started, like I said, with very few qualifications. People who've done this qualification with small children. People who still work a lot during the working week, because we're only requiring you into college between 2 and 2.5 days. So keep the questions and comments coming, but it's certainly very doable. We've got our first call. That's a great call. Naima's there with saying how she's got onto the University of Huddersfield. Well done, Naima. You know, she's done really well. And that's an example of a local university that will accept our students. And Naima did really well, committed herself to the course, got some great results, and she's going to University of Huddersfield. So there's great opportunities to go to University of Huddersfield. We've got Sheffield Hallam, takes a lot of our students. You can come to the University Centre in Wakefield for courses like law and criminology. and business. You could do your degree right here in Wakefield College for many courses, which is fantastic. We also get a lot of people getting into Leeds University, which is a top 20 Russell Group university. And a couple of years ago, we got someone into Cambridge University. But most of our students, for reasons of family and work, tend to stay in the locality. And there's lots of great opportunities at local universities in Leeds, in Bradford, in Huddersfield, Sheffield, for students to stay at their own base and actually travel to university. Someone asking about homework. It's a dreadful word, isn't it, homework? But yes, we do insist that you do homeworks, but more to the point, they will contribute to your overall grades. So our rule of thumb is we're roughly going to have 12 hours in college over 2 to 2.5 days, but then you'll have to do another 12 hours of your own work, which is basically you'll have to get yourself a computer and a quiet space in where you live, and commit yourself to doing your research, to preparing for sometimes there's exams in there, sometimes it's oral presentation, lots of different assessments, very similar to what you get at university, but you do have to do the groundwork, you do have to do the homework. So yes, there is definitely homework, but as I said before, if you do lots of homework and you plan your time really carefully, treat it as a job almost, then you'll, like Naima's there, excellent time management skills, made sure once an essay was set, she got on with it, really researched it well, and she comes away with some fantastic grades. So yes, you do have homework, but if you plan your time well and get on top of it and devote approximately about 12 hours a week to it, then you will do well. So good question. Keep those questions coming. Like I said, it was fantastic to hear from Naima there. Ex-students, if you want to drop us a line, tell us what you're doing, where you're at, that would be fantastic as well. So keep the questions coming. Really good questions just come in. Is it face-to-face or online learning? Well, we all know about last year, and there was a lot of online learning. We carried on right to the end. We didn't estimate grades. Our students did fantastically well with online learning. But this year, basically, we're looking at back to face-to-face. So yes, there might be small amounts of online learning. Well, we've used all the good practice we learned about that from last year and incorporated in, but most of the teaching this year will be back to face-to-face, because in many respects, talking in a classroom, asking questions, bouncing ideas off of people is the best way to learn. And adults often enjoy the company of other adults in that classroom situation as well. So there's all sorts of reasons, but we're going mostly back. Most of the learning you will do at Wakefield College will be face-to-face learning for 2021-22. So good question. Keep those questions coming. Any comments as well? I'm happy to answer. But yeah, yesterday was a tough year, but our students did fantastically well. Which university do Access students go on to attend? We've had now from Huddersfield. Huddersfield takes a lot of our students. A lot of our students are increasingly staying at Wakefield College in our university centre, where they can do full degrees, which are actually supported by Hull University, but almost like a franchise. So you can do things like law and criminology, you can do business, you can do other degrees, foundation degrees as well. There's a huge array at Wakefield College that you can do. Many of our students go to Leeds Beckett University and Leeds University, two different universities in Leeds. There's even Leeds Trinity as well. Excuse me. Bradford College offer degrees, Bradford University, they're also popular choices. So usually within the process, you can apply to 5 local universities. Our students do very well. Often they get the first choice, but we can apply up to 5, and it's good to do that. And then obviously during the university cycle, you usually narrow it down to a firm and insurance offer in terms of choosing one of the 2. Okay. Niall's just sent me another message, and yeah, when you do things, if you work with your tutors very successfully. We support you in the drafts process in many respects. So we don't just say, here's an essay, do it. We'll give you opportunities to be supported. What we pride ourselves on is being very supportive as tutors when we deliver access courses. I'm a tutor as well. and we support our students in terms of, we know that you might have been out of education 5-10 years, maybe more. So we give a lot of support in terms of things like drafting. But I'm glad Naeema's on the same page as me. Time management is often the key. All right, got another comment there. You know, and I like your honesty there, Liz. Liz has got a very obviously an animal student, animal study student, because I think there's a little doggy on there as well. So thank you very much for your comment, Liz. That's fantastic. That's one of our new courses, animal studies, and clearly she is. It's nice to hear about people backing up what I said. She was well supported by the team. Honesty there. It was hard, but it's highly recommended and great stuff. Liz is starting university. So great to hear from you, Liz. Thank you for your comments. And thank you also for just backing up a little bit what I said there and being honest. It is hard, okay? We just had a question there about, will I have to pay? Now, access courses, the good news about access courses, very few people pay in the sense of any sort of money or card changing hands. So that's the good news about access courses. Why is that? Because if you're between 19 and 23, most of 19 to 23 age people don't pay. It's free, okay? Unless you've done a level 3 before, in which case you take out an advanced learner loan, which again sounds horrendous. And if you're over 24, you take out an advanced learner loan. But again, that's not a problem, because it's just money that's transferred from the government to the college, okay? You take responsibility for it. But the good news is, if you do a degree, you never have to pay it back. So there's not really money changing hands. It's not a loan in sense of credit checks, anything like that. Basically, you do it all online on a portal, transfers the money over, you get on with your access course. So there's no upfront fees, no installments. Most people have forgotten they've done it actually by January, February. And then once you go on to a degree, you never have to pay it back. Okay, so most people really, to all intents and purposes, are free to do the access. They're not paying money. They're not having to raid the piggy bank or whatever. It's fine. Okay, so please, we'll guide you through that process. But just remember, advanced learner loans, you don't have to pay them back. No upfront fees if you do a degree. And 19 to 23-year-olds, most of you guys probably won't have to pay at all. You'll be treated like a 16-year-old and get as an entitlement. Can I get financial help? Really good question. In terms of financial help, we do offer quite a lot of financial help as a college to support students. What do we help them with? We help them with travel costs. That is means tested, so it depends on family income, but we help with travel costs because you've got to get into college if we're doing face-to-face teaching. What other financial help we do? We offer a lot of financial help with childcare. So if you've got children who are young, need Ofsted registered childcare, we can give you financial help. So you apply for that once you enroll. So there is support. If you need a laptop desperately and you haven't got up-to-date kit, we've got some laptops available you can rent out for the year. Rent out, you can have them for free for the year as long as you bring them back safe and sound at the end of it. So we've got lots of opportunities to support you and your learning, okay? Point Naeema made about time management as well. Sometimes it's organising your time effectively around childcare, effectively around work. I mean, we've had students, straight distinction, who've had 4 children and a job, but they're sometimes our best students because there's an old phrase in life, you know, if you want something done, ask a busy person, okay? But we'll put it in place, but you still need to make sure you're super organised to be able to do their access costs. But a good question about financial help, so keep the comments coming and keep any former students, feel free to drop us a line, tell me what access costs you did, what you're doing now, a bit like Naeema and Liz. Other exams on some courses, yes, but just remember they're not the type of exam set where the tutor doesn't know what questions they're going to get. They're set internally to give you the exam experience on some of the courses like humanities, business, healthcare. Some of the courses do have exams, some of the practical ones less so, okay? So some of the courses like music tech doesn't have any exams, creative and digital doesn't, computing doesn't really have exams. So there's a lot of courses don't have exams, but some of the ones where you're also going to get exams at university, like healthcare, humanities, business, we do some exams, but usually they're spread out over 2 periods in the year, and they're combined to get grades with continuous assessment as well. So we guide you very carefully through them. There's nothing to worry about. Our students do achieve successfully in them. But yes, we do have exams on some of our access courses. But it's a good question. Theory or practical lessons, again, we have a lot of great technology within the Wakefield College, particularly on courses like music technology, where you use up-to-date Macs and kit to do practical assignments. So there's lots of practical activities that you're doing. Like I said, we have our own animals, and in terms of what you might do on animal studies, we have our own sports equipment that you would do on sports science. We have a lot of practical equipment that you would have use of as part of your learning. So yes, lots of practical activities going on many of our access courses, but there is admittedly a lot of theory. You will have to use the library, you will have to use electronic resources, you'll have to research information, you have to put it together, but there's a lot of practical work. But sometimes practical work is like do interviewing people, carrying out questionnaires. So every course will have some practical activity as well as the theories you'll learn about that are all important for your future university education. Believe you and me, any student who comes back to me who's been to university and I say, were you well prepared? They say 100% yes. They feel very well prepared because what we do is kind of a little microcosm of what they've done at university. So how can I find out whether my access course will be suitable for an application on a particular course? Well, the good news is when we look on what's called UCAS, which is how you research all the different degrees and universities in the country, when we look on there, most universities accept access courses. So, and they're worth UCAS points. So you can get the equivalent of 3 grades at A level. So it's very, very rare that an access course is not suitable. And you can see what they want from the access course. If they ask for lots of UCAS points, like 140, it's probably they want you to get all distinctions, okay? Such as Leeds University do. Other courses, maybe it's a bit lower, maybe it's sort of around the 96 mark, it's all merits. You can kind of gauge not only what the university accepts an access course, but you can also understand what they want in terms of the grades. But you won't find many courses at university that don't accept access courses. Why is that? Because I think universities have become much more inclusive. They want to encourage people of different ages, and so they will tend to get a more diverse age range of students if they accept over 19 people from access course. But a really good question, and a question we can answer positively, that there are plenty of opportunities for people to do access courses at university in nearly all the subjects on the curriculum, as it were. What are my options after the course? Like I said, 94% from last year went straight on to university, and in most cases it was their first choice of subject, if not their first choice of university. But the good news is we do have some students who may not progress, but it's not because they don't get a place. Our students clearly do, 94% of them progress, but some of them may take a year out. Some students may be on maternity leave for a year. That does happen clearly with adults. It may be they have to work for a year, but they can defer. So it means that they can go to university, not immediately after, but the year after that. So again, don't hesitate to sort of think, well, there might be an issue further down the line to stop me going to university. You can take a year out. You can hold your place for a year. So once you do that, that's fine. But the options, as I say, we've got 11 different access courses. So what you can do in terms of A levels in a normal college in all those different subjects, from art and design, business, computing, creative and digital, law and criminology, humanities, healthcare, sports, science generally. We have a huge range of different courses available. So Anastasia has joined us, and what qualifications do you need? It depends on the type of access, what we call pathway you're doing from the ones I mentioned. So some such as science, and healthcare professions want 3 GCSEs, C or 4 in maths, English and science. Okay. Other ones, we look at some of your practical abilities as well, such as art, music, technology. We're less keen on those. Those tend to really want level 2 English and English primarily. Okay. So most of our entry qualification, be interested to know which pathway you would like to do, Anastasia. Only really science and healthcare professions would like 3 GCSEs. The rest, we certainly would be looking at English C or 4, or possibly even functional skills level 2. So each pathway slightly varies in its entry qualifications, but Anastasia, if you get in touch with us, we can tell you definitively which ones you need. Okay, so but good questions, keep the questions coming. And like I said, we've got a really good question here. Will my family and part-time work commitments be a problem? Definitely not. You can work around the course. Obviously, we want you in 2.5 days or 2 days a week, but depending on which access course it is. But certainly, many students find having a family an advantage because they feel they're a role model for family members. They're seeing there, if you're doing your homework as a mum and dad, that sets a good example to your children rather than telling them you must do your homework. So families and the access course go together. We're very good in terms of timetable. We usually have a timetable at the start. We stick to that to the year, so you know where you are. If you need to go and pick up the children after school or whatever, you can arrange things around that. So we're very clear on our timetable. We're very family friendly in terms of access course delivery. And again, yeah, if you need to work part-time, clearly you can't work part-time when you're supposed to be in college. However, because we keep to a consistent timetable throughout the year and try and concentrate over 2 days and 2.5 or 2.5 days, you can work your part-time work commitments around that. And like I said, we do have a lot of students, because they need to pay the bills, the mortgage and whatever, do work and are often very successful in terms of the access course. So good question, but our track record shows that people can manage both of those. So keep the comments coming. If there's any former students who want to chip in as well to the, a bit like Naomi and Liz, that's fine. Will it be like school? That's a good question. It's not like school. We're on first name terms. We treat you as adults. And I would say the reason I enjoy access teaching is everybody's so motivated. They're here by their own choice. So we have fantastic discussions. People are very motivated to do well. The behaviour is excellent. They're very committed. They're very conscientious. It's a great atmosphere. Friendships develop between students who come to join us. So it doesn't have that school environment. However, you do get one thing that's similar to school. You get qualifications, and we have a fantastic record in terms of the people who start our course, finish it and gain the qualification. We have what's called a great achievement rate. So that's the main similarity with school, is people do very well and get qualifications as adults and make very good progress from where they start in the year to where they finish it. So great question, but the answer to it is only in some ways, but there's a great more informal, pleasant atmosphere in terms of the learning process, unlike what you might remember from school. Where will I study? All our access courses are based at Wakefield City campus, in the centre of Wakefield, easily reachable by bus or train. So you'll study at Wakefield City campus, and a lot of them are in the plush new building that I'm speaking to from now. We call the ASIC building, where we've got state-of-the-art technologies that you can use. So it'll be in Wakefield City campus if you can reach there, which is easily commutable for most people in the area. So that's where we're at. Keep those questions coming. Any other comments from people would be very welcome, and I'm here to help you answer those and guide you on. Although I don't look after all access courses, we have a range of tutors. All those 11 pathways have subject group leaders who will happily guide you to be through the process and get you enrolled. Am I too old? Definitely not. We have people starting at all different ages, right into the 40s and 50s. One of our strengths is the people in the classroom will have from all different ages. Yes, there's a lot of people who are 19, but there's a lot of people who are 29, 39 and upwards. So we have a big age range of people. And like I said, education should be about lifelong learning, and we're happy to encourage that. So we're very inclusive, very welcoming, and often younger and older people in our classrooms feed off each other. So that's great. So keep those questions coming. Like I said, it's easy to get in touch with us. You can either contact us, emails, phone calls. We'll get in touch. We'll get the process started. We don't start teaching until 13th of September. So we've got, if you're a little bit hesitant now, get an application in. Why not? Just get talking to us. You know, you might think, well, it's not for me this year, but at least you've had a communication. We can sort of look at you individually and think, which access course is best? Could we plan out the next few years? You know, could you do that dream job? You might be in a good job now, but it allows you to get to the end game in terms of a degree, standard education a lot better. So we start 30th of September, so a couple of weeks now. Maybe the children's starting to go back to work, maybe thinking what you're going to do in your life this year. Maybe lockdowns made you recalibrate a little bit and think, do I want to just carry on what I'm doing? Or is that dream job a social worker, lawyer, graphic designer? Is that within my reach? And if so, I'd probably need to do a degree to do it, and can I devote some time now in the forthcoming years to get to that dream job? Like I said, most people retire a bit later, so you've got lots of employment in your life. So it's a great opportunity to do it now. So get in touch with it, even if it's just speculatively, even if you're not sure, you're 50-50, whatever, we can talk to you. We're not holding a gun to you. You know, if you walk away, that's fine. But equally, it'd be great to get a few more people on board. There are still places on all our access courses available, so certainly won't turn you away. So as we're rounding up things, any further questions, if you want to put them onto screen, that'd be fine. But like I said, I think there's always a thing about getting in touch. And as Anastasia said about qualifications, we'll always look very carefully at what you've achieved in the past. So we're very open about the qualifications. We're not necessarily using the qualifications to stop you getting somewhere. We're going to use the qualifications to help you get to the next level. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for the ex-students who kind of sent in their testimonies. That's been great. I appreciate that. Thank you for the questions that you've sent me. They've been really helpful in hope. But please get in touch. Like I said, there's normal ways to do it. Just contact the college. And I'm Stephen Jones. If you want to speak to me, that's fine. We've got lots of specialist people here to help you. So do get in touch. College is back now. We're all waiting to hear from you. Thank you very much for listening. Get in touch with us. And my name's Stephen Jones. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.